Today, we're diving into 10 masterpieces that will change how you see movies forever. These aren't just great films, they're landmarks that reshaped storytelling, visuals, and emotion in cinema. From psychological thrillers to poetic meditations, this list has something for every budding cinephile. Grab some popcorn, get comfortable, and let's begin. Persona, directed by Ingmar Bergman. Ingmar Bergman's Persona is not just a film, it's an existential puzzle, a visual poem, and a psychological labyrinth that redefined what cinema could be. The story follows Elisabeth, a stage actress, who suddenly stops speaking, and Alma, the nurse assigned to care for her. As their identities begin to merge, Bergman crafts a mesmerizing exploration of self, performance, and human connection. Shot in stark black and white by cinematographer Sven Nykvist, every frame is a painting, every silence deafening. For beginners, Persona might seem challenging, but that's exactly why it's essential. It teaches you to engage with cinema as an art form, not just entertainment. Bergman's use of surreal imagery, fragmented storytelling, and psychological depth influenced filmmakers like David Lynch, Andrei Tarkovsky, and countless others. The film's famous face merge scene remains one of the most analyzed moments in film history, symbolizing the fluidity of identity. What makes Persona perfect for newcomers is its emotional rawness. It doesn't rely on plot twists, but on the sheer power of performance and atmosphere. If you want to understand how cinema can evoke deep, unspoken truths about human nature, start here. Bergman once said, "No form of art goes beyond ordinary consciousness as film does." And Persona is proof. It's a film that demands multiple viewings, each time revealing new layers. For anyone serious about film, this is where the journey truly begins. Blue Velvet, directed David Lynch. David Lynch's Blue Velvet is a film that crawls under your skin and stays there. On the surface, it's a neo-noir mystery about a college student, Jeffrey, who finds a severed ear and uncovers a dark underworld in his seemingly idyllic town. But beneath that, it's a surreal, Freudian nightmare about the duality of human nature. The clean, suburban facade versus the violent, primal desires lurking beneath. Lynch's signature style, dreamlike visuals, unsettling sound design, and grotesque yet hypnotic characters makes this film a perfect entry point into his filmography. Dennis Hopper's performance as Frank Booth, a gas-huffing psychopath, is one of cinema's most terrifying villains, delivering lines like, "Baby wants to fuck," with unnerving intensity. For beginners, Blue Velvet is a masterclass in tone. Lynch contrasts bright, nostalgic 1950s aesthetics with brutal violence, creating a disorienting yet mesmerizing experience. The film was controversial upon release, with critics divided over its disturbing content. But today, it's hailed as a masterpiece that paved the way for modern psychological thrillers like True Detective and Black Swan. What makes it great for new film lovers is its balance of accessibility and depth. It's strange enough to intrigue, but structured like a classic mystery. Roger Ebert famously hated it at first, only to later admit its brilliance, proving that great films often challenge us before they enlighten us. If you want to explore how cinema can distort reality and expose hidden fears, Blue Velvet is the perfect start. 12 Angry Men, 1957, director Sidney Lumet. Imagine a film set almost entirely in one room, with no flashy effects, no elaborate costumes, just 12 men debating a verdict. Yet, 12 Angry Men is one of the most gripping films ever made. Directed by Sidney Lumet in his feature debut, this courtroom drama follows a jury deciding the fate of a young man accused of murder. What starts as an open and shut case becomes a riveting study of prejudice, justice, and the power of doubt. Henry Fonda delivers a quietly commanding performance as Juror 8, the lone dissenter who forces the others to question their biases. Lumet's genius lies in his ability to make a single room feel like a battlefield. Through tight close-ups, shifting camera angles, and rising tension, he turns dialogue into action. For beginners, this film is a masterclass in storytelling efficiency. It proves that great cinema doesn't need spectacle, just compelling characters and sharp writing. The film was a modest box office success, but later gained legendary status, influencing everything from The Hateful Eight to modern TV dramas. It's also one of the best films to study acting, as each juror represents a different facet of human nature, from Lee J. Cobb's explosive bigot to Jack Warden's indifferent clockwatcher. What makes 12 Angry Men perfect for new film lovers is its universality. It's about how easily people judge others without reflection, a theme that remains painfully relevant today. If you want to see how a simple premise can become an unforgettable cinematic experience, this is it. Mirror, directed by Andrei Tarkovsky. If cinema is a language, Tarkovsky's Mirror is its most profound poem. This autobiographical fever dream weaves together childhood memories, Soviet history, and metaphysical questions, with imagery so tactile you can smell the rain-soaked forests. There's no traditional plot, just a dying man's consciousness unfolding through liquid time, where a mother's youth and a son's adulthood coexist in the same frame. Tarkovsky invented new techniques here, like filming actual milk, slowly dripping down walls to create a hypnotic, trance-like rhythm. For beginners, this is your gateway to slow cinema. It demands you surrender to its flow like classical music. Every shot is a painting. Literally, he restaged Renaissance artworks. But it's never pretentious. It's about universal feelings. The ache of forgetting your mother's voice, the terror of nuclear war, the way sunlight through curtains can time travel you to childhood. Critics initially called it incomprehensible, but its DNA now lives in everything from The Tree of Life to Twin Peaks: The Return. Watch this when you're ready to feel cinema in your bones, not just watch it. Parasite, directed by Bong Joon-ho. Parasite isn't just a film, it's a scalpel slicing open capitalism's rotting core, dressed as the most entertaining heist, thriller, horror comedy you'll ever see. Bong Joon-ho crafts a literal class war between the wealthy Parks and the destitute Kim family, where every frame oozes with symbolic details. Notice how the rich always look down physically at the poor. That now legendary staircase scene, a vertical map of social hierarchy, the smell the rich obsess over, the stench of inequality. For beginners, this is perfect. It's wildly fun. Montages, plot twists, a murderous rampage, but rewards deeper analysis. Why does the only honest character live underground? It made history as the first non-English Best Picture winner because it weaponizes cinema itself, using Hitchcockian tension, Kubrickian symmetry, and Shakespearean tragedy. That tonal whiplash from comedy to horror, that's the sound of the American dream breaking. Pro tip, watch it twice. First for the thrill, then to catch all 47 hidden metaphors, like the scholar's rock that promises wealth but becomes a murder weapon. In the Mood for Love, directed by Wong Kar-wai. Most love stories show the kissing. Wong Kar-wai shows the ache of not kissing. Set in 1960s Hong Kong, this masterpiece follows two neighbors who suspect their spouses are having an affair, and in their loneliness, they almost fall for each other. Every frame is drenched in longing. Natalie Portman's Closer stole its color palette of blood-red curtains and emerald dresses. The camera lingers on hands almost touching, cigarette smoke curling between them like unspoken words. For beginners, this is how visuals become emotion. The slow-motion shots. The Nat King Cole songs in Spanish, making love feel foreign, yet familiar. The way their faces are always blocked by doors and walls. They're so close to happiness, but never reach it. Fun fact, Wong Kar-wai improvised the entire script daily, forcing actors to do 26 takes of walking down stairs until their restraint felt volcanic. If you've ever had a crush that hurt, this film is that feeling. Sherlock Jr., directed by Buster Keaton. Before CGI, before Marvel, there was Buster Keaton, the original superhero. Sherlock Jr. is a 45-minute sprint of genius where a film projectionist, played by Keaton, dreams himself into a movie, leading to the most inventive physical comedy ever filmed. Watch him literally jump into the screen. A meta-joke 100 years before Everything Everywhere all at once. Or that motorcycle chase, where he rides through moving traffic without knowing he's standing on the handlebars. For beginners, this is Film School 101. Keaton did every death-defying stunt himself. That train water tank gag? Real. Inventing visual effects in camera? His invisibility trick was achieved by stopping film mid-roll. It's hilarious, but also strangely profound. The climax where he mimics the rich lover on screen, only to realize life isn't as simple as movies, hits harder than most dramas. Chaplin makes you cry. Keaton makes you gasp while laughing. If you think silent films are boring, this will change your mind in 5 minutes flat. Taste of Cherry, directed by Abbas Kiarostami. A man drives through Tehran, asking strangers to bury him after he suicides. That's the entire plot of Taste of Cherry. But this Palme d'Or winner is one of cinema's deepest meditations on life's worth. Kiarostami films everything in real time from the car's dashboard, trapping us in the protagonist's isolation. The story is just conversations with passengers. A young soldier terrified of sin, a taxidermist who finds beauty in preserving death, a man who stops him with a story about mulberries. For beginners, this teaches how minimalism creates maximum impact. The endless brown hills mirror his depression, while the abrupt, controversial ending forces you to decide if life's taste is sweet enough to endure. It was nearly banned in Iran for promoting suicide. But it's really about connection, how even strangers' voices in the dark can anchor us to existence. Warning, you'll either find it boring or life-changing. There's no in-between. The 400 Blows, directed by François Truffaut. The birth of the French New Wave starts here, with a delinquent kid stealing typewriters and escaping juvenile detention. The 400 Blows isn't just semi-autobiographical. It's the first film to treat childhood as something real, not sentimental. Antoine Doinel, played by 14-year-old Jean-Pierre Léaud, isn't a troubled youth cliché. He's a raw nerve, reacting to indifferent parents, abusive teachers, and a world that won't let him breathe. Truffaut shoots Paris like a prison. Watch how doors and windows constantly trap Antoine in frames. But the famous final shot, a zoom into his face on the beach, unsure if he's free, is cinema's first mic drop. For beginners, this is ground zero for modern realism. No dramatic music, no tidy endings, just life unfolding in messy verite. It inspired every rebellious kid film after, from Moonlight to Lady Bird. Essential fact, Truffaut was a former film critic who hated stuffy tradition. This was his middle finger to perfect cinema, and it changed movies forever. Cure, directed by Kiyoshi Kurosawa. Horror isn't about jump scares. It's about the terror of losing your mind. And no film proves that like Cure. A detective hunts a killer who hypnotizes people into murdering loved ones. But the real villain is an amnesiac who erases identities with just a question. Who are you? Kurosawa, no relation to that Kurosawa, films Tokyo like a waking nightmare. Flickering fluorescent lights, rooms that feel both claustrophobic and endless. Murders staged like Butoh performances. For beginners, this is Horror 201. It's too smart for cheap thrills, instead burrowing into your psyche like the villain's whisper. The scariest moment? A 7-minute single take where a cop realizes he might be hypnotized. And you're not sure if you are too. It directly inspired Prisoners, Zodiac, and every slow burn thriller today. Warning, you'll start side-eyeing anyone who asks your name. There you have it. 10 movies to watch if you are just starting your film journey. If you guys would like 10 more or even 20 more, please do let me know. Consider subscribing for more movies lists. Dash out!